LiAngelo Ball, long pegged as the middle ball brother, has navigated one of the most perplexing journeys in basketball. With Lonzo and LaMelo already established in the NBA spotlight, Jello's career has been beset by stalled G League stints, limited opportunities, and repeated attempts to prove his worth. In an unexpected turn, he's traded the hardwood for hip-hop, with a viral snippet propelling him to rap's newest sensation, raising an uncomfortable question: should LiAngelo give up hoops for a surging music career? But before we dive deeper into LiAngelo's wild transition, show your love for the game with our Hoop Hype store. From hoodies to tees and mugs, we've got everything to rep your basketball passion and style. Tap view products or click the link in the description to gear up and support the channel. For years, LeVar Ball boasted that all three of his sons, Lonzo, LiAngelo, and LaMelo, would dominate NBA rosters.
I knew this was happening before it was happening. I already knew what was coming to me. I got two more boys. I gotta come do the same thing 2 more years. The big ball away. Ball control.
He wasn't shy about it, storming sports talk shows and proclaiming big dreams. On the surface, the prophecy looked well on track. Lonzo blossomed into a versatile guard who at times looks like an elite passer and defender. LaMelo, flamboyant and ultra-skilled, became the Charlotte Hornets franchise face. But the middle brother, LiAngelo, found his path weighed down by unexpected roadblocks. Rewind to Chino Hills High School in California, where a teenage Jello carved out a name for himself. That iconic squad, boasting Lonzo and LaMelo, stormed to national recognition behind an outrageous fast break offense. While Lonzo orchestrated and LaMelo dazzled, LiAngelo was the consistent scorer, launching threes and showing off a solid inside-out game. Scouts praised his uncanny shooting, expecting him to star at UCLA. Some believed his NBA dream was guaranteed, yet controversies soon cropped up. A shoplifting incident in China tainted his college prospects.
And we left thinking we'll just get away. You know how kids think. I didn't realize till I got back to my hotel, I'm like, that was stupid, but by then it was too late, and then sure enough, the next morning the police came and got us.
Leading to an abrupt departure from UCLA before his freshman season truly began.
LeVar Ball has indeed pulled his son LiAngelo Ball out of the UCLA program and out of school.
LeVar hastily opted to send LiAngelo overseas to Lithuania, where the basketball climate was intense and the language barrier challenging. Critics ridiculed the move, claiming it reeked of short-term publicity rather than a viable stepping stone.
He wants to be an entrepreneur. He's going about it, build up this big baller brand. But Skip, I don't see how this works. I don't see how you're seeing two teenagers halfway around the world in a situation you can't control.
Jello's time overseas was rocky, with glimpses of a sniper from deep overshadowed by questions about conditioning and defense. Eventually, LiAngelo found himself back stateside, trying out for G League teams.
Is now playing for the
OKC Blue, which is the G League.
Which is the G League, and he's on the practice squad right now.
Right.
He latched onto the Oklahoma City Blue for a moment, then the Greensboro Swarm affiliated with Charlotte, hoping to follow LaMelo's footsteps. He'd occasionally flash what fans recognized from Chino Hills, a smooth catch-and-shoot release, a willingness to do dirty work on the boards. But bursts of promise rarely led to stable minutes, and then the stints evaporated. LiAngelo's repeated forays into the G League inevitably ended in disappointment. Despite tantalizing fans with occasional scoring bursts, he never won over coaches enough to stick. For an undrafted player, forging a consistent G League presence is tough enough. When your high-profile last name draws more skepticism than admiration, it can become near impossible. First, there's the raw competitive aspect. The G League teams with players who excelled in top-tier collegiate programs or cut their teeth in reputable overseas leagues. These hungry prospects, typically in their early 20s, are all jockeying for the same call-ups. Meanwhile, some teams view a 26-year-old Ball brother as an attraction who might fill seats short-term, but lacks the upside of a newly minted NCAA star. That stigma can overshadow LiAngelo's actual talents, especially if a franchise believes it has more to gain by showcasing younger guys with potential. Second, there's a sense that LiAngelo's game, while solid on paper, doesn't fit the modern G League paradigm. Yes, he can shoot from a distance, but front offices want wings that can handle, defend multiple positions, and run the floor. Critics claim his foot speed is limited, and he doesn't provide the defensive switchability coaches covet. So even if he's hitting 40% from three, they might wonder if he can survive the G League's relentless pace on both ends. Third, internal locker room politics come into play. Some players bristle at the notion that LiAngelo is there because of hype, name recognition, or perceived nepotism. If a coaching staff is hesitant to alienate its other prospects, Jello could see fewer minutes regardless of performance. That friction can breed a scenario where even if he logs an efficient shooting night, coaches revert to other rotation guys in the next game. Over time, that inconsistency erodes a player's confidence and stymies any chance at genuine improvement. Finally, the G League clock is relentless. Each year, more young talents flood in. A 26-year-old undrafted wing who's missed big stretches might not impress front offices simply by being on a training camp roster. The bar is sky high, and the margin for error is razor thin. Eventually, even the most determined players sense the pipeline might be clogged for them. For LiAngelo, each new G League setback magnified the reality that waiting around for a bigger role might be futile. Something had to give, and ironically, it was something off the court that changed his trajectory entirely. In a twist no one predicted, LiAngelo found himself in a streaming session with a popular content creator, merely a social hangout to chat about hoops. But bored or not, he casually teased a snippet of his unreleased rap track. The internet pounced on it with lightning speed. Within hours, fans were flooding TikTok with the snippet, recut with comedic skits or highlight reels. Twitter memes about Jello Ball, the next rap superstar, shot up, initially half joking. Yet the snippet itself, full of bouncy rhythms and a catchy hook, was genuinely well received. People realized this wasn't a typical baller tries to rap fiasco. This track had an addictive vibe. YouTube re-uploads garnered tens or even hundreds of thousands of views, and bigger music personalities started retweeting it. LiAngelo's social channels exploded with messages. Drop the full version. We need the official release ASAP. Sensing a rare chance at capturing genuine hype, LiAngelo quickly pivoted. He rushed to finalize production, secure distribution, and schedule an official drop. The day the full track hit Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube, it soared to the top of trending lists. Call it a blend of novelty, curiosity, and actual musical quality, but fans devoured it. ESPN, typically the mouthpiece for sports news, was slow to spotlight Jello's rap wave, yet ironically, segments about him losing G League minutes gave way to chatter about LiAngelo topping rap charts.
I asked Lonzo Ball about his brother's rap career. He said he's just happy that the rest of the world is getting to hear the music that he's been doing for a long time. He said he's got a lot more in his bag.
Even better, the track overcame that standard skepticism that plagues athletes turned rappers.
Your boy Jello done put something out, got the whole league talking.
I rock with it, man.
Okay.
I've been hearing it a lot. You know, it gave me that 2003, 2004 vibe.
People discovered the melody was polished, the lyrics not cringe. Younger listeners found it vibey enough for party playlists, and older fans appreciated the throwback style reminiscent of early 2000s rap.
All those like cats. Early 2000s, like Atlanta hip-hop. You know what I mean?
Music industry insiders whispered that if LiAngelo could replicate the success with a second single, he could pivot to a legitimate rap career. After all, the biggest hurdle in music is hooking the public's short attention span. Jello had done that in a day. Suddenly, the middle ball brother overshadowed stories of yet another Summer League cameo. The question wasn't which G League team will he join, but is LiAngelo about to dethrone major rap acts with his next track? It was a bizarre intersection of sports and hip-hop, but it forced people to reevaluate who Jello could become, beyond just another unrealized ball brother. While fans once clamored for LiAngelo's shot at the NBA, a deeper look at the music industry's potential might reveal why pivoting to rap could be more lucrative and more freeing than forging onward with uncertain pro hoops. In the hyper-competitive rap scene, unknown artists often fight to secure even 1,000 streams. LiAngelo's name recognition catapulted his debut track into a viral phenomenon. He didn't face the usual uphill climb for exposure. He started with a built-in audience of Ball family followers, plus curiosity from general NBA fans. That alone grants him a major promotional edge that a random G League environment doesn't match. The standard G League salary hovers around $40,000, and even if LiAngelo lucked into an NBA roster spot, he'd likely earn a rookie minimum or a two-way contract, hardly guaranteed millions. By contrast, a single viral track can yield money from streams, radio plays, brand partnerships, concert tours, and merchandising. Artists who top the charts often see checks dwarfing small NBA deals, especially if they own their masters and negotiate favorable splits with labels. Being an athlete means abiding by team schedules, structured practices, potential overseas assignments, or G League bus rides. A rap career, albeit demanding, offers LiAngelo the liberty to set his schedule, create from anywhere, and shape his brand without dealing with front office politics. He can build an image that resonates with fans on a cultural level, not just a sports one. Let's face it, if LiAngelo returned to a G League bench, the jokes might persist. He's only there because of his brothers, or he's still not an NBA level talent. But as a rapper, the conversation has already shifted. He's validated by streaming numbers, not a coach's rotation choices. For someone who's battled skepticism for years, commanding a stage might prove more rewarding than languishing on a second unit bench. The NBA rarely shows empathy for older rookies. Even if he clawed to an NBA 10-day contract, mainstream coverage would mostly fixate on mild curiosity, overshadowed by bigger star headlines. A hot rap single that dominates streaming trends and spawns a national tour, by contrast, could keep him relevant and flush with opportunities for far longer. Of course, wholeheartedly pivoting from basketball to music isn't without pitfalls. LiAngelo grew up in a home that practically worshipped the sport. LeVar Ball molded his sons into one of the most recognizable families in basketball culture. Jello leaving hoops for rap could trigger genuine emotional conflict, not to mention fan backlash. The entire Ball brand thrived on the notion of all three brothers playing in the NBA at once. If LiAngelo steps away, he's effectively letting go of a shared dream. Lonzo's regret-laden interviews or LaMelo's social media hints might reflect disappointment that their trifecta never took shape. If LiAngelo had made an NBA roster, there'd have been potential for epic brotherly showdowns or synergy on the same squad. Fans wanted a Ball family meltdown or miracle. That hype would vanish if he disappeared from pro hoops, leaving what some see as an unfinished storyline. While a single viral track catapults a new artist, the demand for follow-up success can be brutal. Listeners are fickle, quickly moving to the next trend. LiAngelo might find that initial hype ephemeral if he can't churn out a robust catalog or maintain promotional momentum. Had he become a 12-year veteran in the NBA, even as a role player, he'd at least hold the legacy of fulfilling LeVar's vision in some capacity. Shifting to music means forging a brand new legacy from scratch, reliant on intangible factors like taste and cultural appeal. If it fizzles, he can't easily waltz back into the G League after extended inactivity. Some athletes need to see their sports dream through to the final possibility. Despite the bleak odds, giving up might haunt them, especially if rap doesn't pan out long term. A lingering, what if I'd stayed in the G League just one more year, could weigh on him emotionally. Lonzo and LaMelo, LiAngelo's elder and younger siblings, have each carved their own NBA niche, but their feelings on Jello's predicament aren't monolithic. Lonzo, known for calm pragmatism, recently voiced tough love. He acknowledged that LiAngelo's G League stints yielded minimal on-court action, pushing Jello to consider an overseas route or presumably life beyond American pro hoops.
I'm his big brother. I gotta, tell him the truth. You know what I'm saying? That. I think his path is overseas. Should have been overseas.
That's fair enough too. Overseas is nice, but look.
Meanwhile, LaMelo, flamboyant yet loyal, publicly tried hooking Jello up with streaming personalities and posted supportive messages, hinting that he'd love to see his brother succeed in any arena. LeVar Ball, never short on opinions, remains surprisingly quiet about Jello's rap pivot. Typically, the bombastic father figure would dominate talk shows, proclaiming how this was the plan all along, but so far, he's mainly let his middle son's viral single stand on its own. Possibly LeVar realizes meddling too aggressively could undercut the authenticity that rap fans crave. Nobody wants a father figure controlling a star's creative expression in a genre celebrated for realness and independence. Fans are similarly split. Many who once cheered for LiAngelo's three-point prowess embrace his newfound rap success. On social media, you'll see comments like, "I wanted him in the NBA, but this track goes hard, no lie." Others lament the lost basketball storyline. They yearned for the day all three Ball brothers suited up in the league. We'll never get to see them team up, they lament, as illusions of a triple Ball brother synergy vanish. Meanwhile, the general public, those who only know LiAngelo's name tangentially, are discovering him purely through a catchy track. They see no baggage, no incomplete G League tries, no overshadowed high school hype. For them, he's just that dope new artist with a memorable last name. If Jello harnesses that broader perspective and doesn't fixate on the negativity from sports forums, he can build a brand that stands independently from the big big baller brand tradition. In effect, he's building a bridge from one type of fan base to a fresh audience, giving him a dual advantage if handled properly. How that synergy manifests depends on whether he splits focus between rapping and hooping or picks a single lane. So, LiAngelo's predicament is whether to keep hustling for a shot in pro basketball or go all in on rap. On one side, a final push for the G League or maybe overseas, chasing the faint dream of landing on an NBA roster. On the other, an explosive rap career that might net him more money, recognition, and personal freedom than a marginal role in the league. Fulfilling that lifelong ambition, preserving the Ball family blueprint, plus potential synergy with LaMelo if Charlotte or another franchise eventually unites them. He'd get to walk away with zero regrets, having poured everything into the game that shaped his upbringing. Realistically, competition in the G League is merciless. He's 26 and has limited in-game footage over recent years. Overseas might allow more playing time, but the pay scale and lifestyle could be less appealing than the illusions of NBA stardom. Meanwhile, the clock never stops ticking. Each passing season lowers front office appetite for an unproven project. The single he dropped soared up the charts, an achievement some artists chase their entire careers. He's got name brand recognition from Ball family fame, giving him a promotional springboard. Rap also grants him full creative control, letting him flourish without the constraints of a coach's rotation decisions. If he rapidly follows up the viral track with more hits, the momentum can catapult him into mainstream music circles. Endorsements, tours, and festival lineups might pay sums that overshadow a G League paycheck. The music industry is no guaranteed paradise. Fans often label athlete rappers as novelties or flukes. Second track syndrome can kill an artist if they fail to replicate the debut success. If it fizzles, returning to basketball at 28 or 29 might be too late. Some wonder if he can manage both, especially in an era where streaming from anywhere is possible. He might sign a G League deal for day jobs while performing nights or weekends. But realistically, each path demands full dedication. The physical toll of pro basketball leaves limited time for recording, touring, or marketing music. Meanwhile, the unpredictability of the rap circuit might conflict with team schedules. If he juggles both and stumbles, critics will say he never took either seriously. If he picks one and thrives, the other dream might permanently fade. That's a gamble he must confront. Ultimately, the question is about identity. Does LiAngelo truly see himself as a hooper first? Or is it time to harness the wave of rap stardom that no one, perhaps even him, anticipated? Each route brims with challenges, but also distinct forms of fulfillment. And that's the crux of his tough decision. LiAngelo Ball stands at a life-altering crossroads. On the one hand, he can keep chasing the NBA, hoping for a G League break or a final act overseas. Anything to rewrite the stutter steps that held him back. On the other, his viral entry into hip-hop has unlocked a new lane of success, big paydays, and creative autonomy. For someone who grew up believing hoops were everything, walking away isn't easy. But as an unlikely rap star, Jello might forge a different legacy, one that doesn't require a basketball floor to shine. Which path will he choose? Before you head out, remember, our Hoop Hype store is open and stocked with hoodies. Perfect for repping your love for basketball in style. Tap View Products or click the link in the description to gear up and support the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to check out our next one, shown on screen.